Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Maths Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So I'll be talking about area of a triangle when all three vertices or coordinates are known, all right? So before you come in here, I'll try and move further in this video, try as much as possible to review previous video. And if you've not subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for, click on the subscription button as well as the notification bell. So now, when all the three vertices or the coordinates of a triangle is known, all right, you can directly get the area regardless of the type of triangle, all right? So I'm going to write it down here. So when all the three vertices or the coordinates of a triangle are known, we can directly get the area regardless the type. Okay, you can get the area regardless the type of triangle. Okay, so if you know the three vertices, so if you have something like this, triangle A, B, and C, you know the vertex x1, y1 for A, this is x2, y2 for C, and you have x3, y3 for B. So you know the vertices at this point, you can find the area, okay? So any order will give you the answer, all right? So how do you find the area? So the area will be equal to 1/2 absolute value, all right? So usually what I tell students in order to remember this formula, so you just write x1, x2, x3, and write y1, y2, y3, and you have a direction of always going down, okay? So let's go. So if I cover the first one, cancel out the first one, so I'm starting with x1, so I'm going to write x1 here. Then what I do, I close x1, and I'm left with what? y2 and y3. So it's going to give me y2 minus y3. Are you seeing it? Okay, plus this next thing, we do the same thing, but in this case, we only we go to x2 this time. Repeat the same thing. We're done with x1. Now we do x2. Then x2, you cancel x2. Remember, you're always going down. Then it's going to give you x3 minus x1. y3 minus what? y1. Then the same thing. We do the same thing as well. We're done with that. Cancel that. Then we're going to have y3 now, x3 now. So we cover x3. Then you're left with, remember, you're always going down, y1 minus y2. y1 minus what? y2. And that will be the formula for that, okay? So how do you get the area? The area is the absolute value. So this line means absolute value. So an absolute value means that no matter the number that is inside, it must be positive. So assuming you solved all this and you got -2, what the absolute value means is going to convert it to what? 2. Is that making sense? If the absolute value of 2 is going to also give you what? 2. All right? So if you solve inside this bracket and you got the absolute value to be -40, the absolute value will cancel all the negative and it's going to give you what? 40. And that will be the what? The area. So how do you find the area now? So there are 3 rules here, okay? So the 3 rules in order to find the area. The first thing you have to do, you have to first identify, okay? You have to identify the x1, y1, x2, y2, and x3, y3 using suitable method, all right? So basically, you're going to find the coordinates of each of the points, okay? So if each of the points are already known, then it's fine. You just move on. Then the next thing is that you then substitute it into the formula. So the area will be equal to 1/2 the absolute value of x1, y2 minus y3 plus x2, y3 minus y1 plus x3, y1 minus y2, all absolute values. Then number 3, you then what? Simplify. All right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to use exactly the same example in the previous videos from the linear equation involving perimeter. But this time, the last time we only found the perimeter, but now we're going to find the area. Is that okay? So we're going to use exactly the same video so that we can, exactly the same question from the last videos, so that we can now see how do we now find the perimeter. The last time we used this example to find the area, but now we're going to, use it to find the perimeter, but now we're going to use it to find the area for it, okay? So let's pick this example here. So we have example 1, okay? So let's say we have given that line PQ intersects the coordinate axis So when we talk about the coordinate axis, we're talking about the x and y axis, okay? Okay, at 0 and 4 and 3 and 0. Now we're now told to find the area, okay? In the last video, we found the perimeter, but this time we're going to find the area of triangle OPQ, all right? So step 1, we're told it intersects at 0 and 4, so let's have this here. So this is the line. 0 and 4, that is this point here, P. And this point, 3 and 0, the x-intercept, and that is Q. And this is the coordinate, the origin, and the origin has the coordinate of 0 and 0. We're told to find the area of OPQ, so we're finding the area of this part here. Okay? So, we can make this easy. To make it easy, then we can now say, all right, to make it step 1, we're told to identify the x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. So the x1, y1, we can make this the x1, y1. We can make this the x2, y2, and this x3, y3. So like I said, the order does not really matter. You can switch it around, then you will still get the same thing, okay? X2, y2 then is going to be 0, 0, and x3, y3 is going to give us what? 3, what? 0. All right, so we've identified our x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. The next thing is that we have to do is to substitute it into the formula. Okay, so let's go. So step 2, We know the area is equal to 1/2, the absolute value of x1, y2 minus y3 plus x2, y3 minus y1 plus x3, y1 minus y2. Okay? So what do? Then we're gonna rewrite this there. So to make it easy, I'm gonna write it here. So our x1, y1 was 0 and 4, right? Our x2, y2 was 0, 0. Our x2, y2 was 0, 0. And our x3, y3 was 3, 0. x3, y3 was 3, 0. Okay? So let's solve it. So 1/2 absolute value, our x1 is 0 into brackets. Y2 and y3 is going to give you 0 minus 0 plus our x2 is 0 into bracket. Y3 is going to give you 0 minus y1 is 4 plus our x3 is 3, y1 is 4 minus y2 is 0, all absolute value. So that will give you 1/2. This is 0. 0 times 0 will give you 0 plus. So 0 times minus 4 will give you minus 4. Minus 4 times 0 will give you 0 plus 4 minus 0 will give you 4. 4 times 3 will give you what? 12. Okay? And that will give us 1/2 multiplied by the absolute value of 12. So remember it's absolute value, so it's going to give you 1/2 times what? 12. Then step 3, we can now get the area now. The area is going to give you 1/2 times 12, which will give you what? 6. So the area enclosed by this triangle is what? 6 units squared. Is that okay? And that will be the answer for that. So let's pick another example, okay? So example 2. We have this example here. We were told that the line T has the equation okay, line T has the equation 5x minus 6y minus 30 is equal to what? 0. Number 1, we said we should find the coordinates of P and what? Q, where line T crosses the coordinate what? Axis. So remember I said coordinates means x and y. So where it crosses the x and y what? Axis. Then when you're done with that, the next thing that you were told to do is that you then have to find the area of triangle OPQ, where O is the origin. Where O is the origin. All right? So we're going to start from the first one. Step 1, okay? We then need to find where the coordinate crosses the axis. So we're looking for both the x-intercept and the y-intercept. And I told you at x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So if you've not watched my video on x and y-intercept, please go back and watch it, okay? So at x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So that means in this original equation, anywhere we see y, we put 0 in its place. So I'm going to have 5x minus 6, 0 minus 30 is equal to 0. That will give us 5x minus 30 is equal to 0. 5x is equal to what? 30. So we're going to have 5x is equal to 30. Divide both sides by 5. So x will be equal to what? 6. So the value for x will be equal to 6. So therefore, if you want to write it in coordinates as x-intercept, x is going to be equal to 6, and y we already know is going to be 0. So that will be the coordinate for the x-intercept. Then we're going to find for at y-intercept. So we find at x-intercept. So at y-intercept, okay, x is going to be equal to 0. So the same thing. We have 5x minus 6y minus 30. So we have 5x will be 0 minus 6y minus 30 is equal to 0. That'll give us minus 6y minus 30 is equal to 0. Take 30 minus 30 to the other side. So it'll be minus 6y will be equal to 30. Divide both sides by minus 6. Then y will be equal to what? Minus what? 5. So if you want to write this down, at y-intercept, x is 0, y is what? Minus what? 5. Okay? So this is point Q, all right? And this is point what? Point P. All right, so with that now, we can now attempt at drawing the what? Drawing the graph. So let's try and plot this. So we're gonna have this graph like this. So this is the y-axis, and this is the x-axis. So point P, we're told point P is at 6 and 0. So this is point P. As in this is this point. So point P, we're told is 6 and 0. Point Q, 0 and minus 5. So let's assume this is point Q. Okay. We're told is 0 and what? Minus 5. So this is the line that goes through both points. Okay. And this point here is going to be the origin. And we're told the origin coordinate is 0 and 0. So the question now told us that we should find the area of triangle OPQ, where O is the origin. So we're looking at O, P, and Q. So that means we're looking for the area covered by this what? This part of the graph. Okay, good. So that's the triangle. But you can see, if you want to rewrite this again, you can draw it like this. Still the same thing. You'll see that this is point O, point P. P, we have the coordinates 6 and 0. Q, we have the coordinates for Q, 0 and what? Minus 5. And O is 0. Are you seeing it? So you can see now at this point now, we know the vertices of the three sides of the triangle. All right? So if we now put that into consideration, we can now say we can have x1, y1. So for the x1, y1, I can say to make it easier, I can decide to make the origin, let's just flip it up a bit, will be the x1, y1. Okay, so x1, y1 is going to be 0 and 0. The next one, I'm going to have x2, y2. x2, y2, we can just say, okay, this should be the x2, y2, all right? And that'll be 6 and 0. So like I said, it does not really matter which you make your x1, y1 and x2, y2. You will get the same thing. Then x3, y3 definitely will going to be the last one, which is going to give you x3, y3, and 0 and minus 5. So that'll be 0 and minus 5. Then we apply the formula. We know the area is equal to 1 over 2 absolute value x1, y2 minus y3 plus x2, y3 minus y1 plus x3 y1 minus what? y2, absolute value. And that will give you 1 over 2, absolute value, x1 is 0 into bracket, y2, 0 minus 5 plus x2, 6, y3, which is minus 5 minus y1, that will give you 0 plus x3 is going to give us 0 into bracket y1, 0 minus what? 5. y1 minus y2, sorry. y2 is 0. So y1 is 0 minus y2. y2 is also 0. So that will give you 0 instead. All absolute value. Okay? So this is going to give us 1 over 2 absolute value. 0 times plus minus times minus will give you plus. So 0 plus 5 will give you 5. 5 times 0 will give you 0. Plus minus 5 minus 0 will give you minus 5. Minus 5 times 6 is going to give you minus 30. Okay? So that'll give you minus 30 plus 0 minus 0 will give you 0. And this will give you this. So you're going to have, it will be equal to 1 over 2 absolute value minus what? 30. All right? Then the next one, we get to step 3. Okay? So step 3, the area is going to be 1 over 2 multiplied by, so because it's absolute value, so the minus will go away and become what? 30. And the answer is what? 15. So the area for this example is what? 15. So the area covered by this triangle here, the area is 15 units squared. Is that okay? 15 units squared. Okay, so I'm going to pick one more for this. Okay, so let's just pick one more example so that we can further explain. So let's pick one more example. So example 3. All right. So we have here, we have the corners of a triangle. Are the points. Six, 9. We have B minus 2, 7, and C 5, minus 8. We're now told to then what? Find the area of triangle ABC. Okay. So step 1. So like I said, not to scale, you can just, we have triangle A, B, and C. A, we're told that A is 6, 9. B, we're told is minus 2, 7. And C is what? 5 minus 8. Okay, so we're having these numbers here. So you can easily pick anyone to be your x1. You can say this x1, y1. You can make this x2, y2. And you can make this your x3, y3. Okay, so that means my x1, y1 will be equal to 6, 9. My x2, y2 is going to be equal to minus 2, 7. And my x3, y3 is going to be 5, minus 8. Okay? So let's go. So we're going to start. So we can now go to step 2. So step 2, to get that, what I can do is that I can decide to bring out this. So the x1, y1 is 6, 9. So we have the x1, y1, okay, is what? 6, 9. The x2, y2, the x2, y2, I think that's minus 2, 7. x2, y2 is minus 2, 7. And also we have x3, y3, and that should be about 5 minus 8, yes. And that will give us 5 minus 8. So we can find the area. The area is equal to 1 over 2, absolute value of x1, y2 minus y3 plus x2, y3 minus y1 plus x3, y1 minus y2, okay? And that will give you equal to 1 over 2, all right? x1 is 6 into bracket, y2 will give you 7 minus, y3 is minus 8 plus my x2 is minus 2 multiplied by my y3 is minus 8, my y1 is minus 9 plus my x3 is 5 into bracket, my y1 is 9 minus my y2 is 7, or this. And when you press this, so 1 over 2 absolute value, this is going to give you 6, 7 plus 8 times 6, so that will give you 90. So we're going to have minus 15 times minus 2 will give you, sorry, this is minus 17 times minus 2 will give you time plus 34, because minus times minus will give you plus. Then 9 minus 7 will give you 2. 2 times 5 will give you what? 10. Absolute value. And that will give you 1 over 2 multiplied by the absolute value of 100 and what? 34. So step 3, 1 over 2 times absolute value of 134 will be 134. And the answer you get here will become what? 67. Okay? So that means the area for this triangle here is what? 67 square units. Okay? The 67 square unit. All right, so that is that for that. All right, so now we've done, we found how to find area when the three coordinates or the vertices are known. The next one, we're gonna find area for triangle when two sides or two lengths are known in a right angle triangle. Is that okay? So that is that for that. So that means, don't forget, you only use this when the three vertices are known. That means you know x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, and this is the formula you what? You will have to use. The 3 steps, you identify your x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. You substitute it into the formula and you simplify. All right. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to click on the notification bell, and so that when I post the new videos, you'll be the first person to know. All right, so I'll see you soon.